Hello, it's Sunday and welcome to your Big Magazine, the weekly digest from Big News. I'm Lee Bannister and over the next hour we'll take a nice relaxed look around our area. Whether you're in Birmingham, Solihull, the Black Country, settle back and let's see what we've got for your Sunday. Yes, it's Sunday, so in a few moments we'll cross to the big newsroom for a look back across the week with Bob Hall. A little later on, Des and Gary will see what's on for Sunday. Carl will have some film news. We'll see what's up on this week's community notice board. Charity Focus will profile a local charity. Tom Wilkinson will give us another history lesson for the coming week, and I'll have a route around the big centre postbag. So that's all to come within the pages of Sunday's Big Magazine. So then it's over to Big Centre's newsroom now for a look back at what's been going on in our area this week. Here's Bob.
Thanks, Lee. Now, a new £1 million recovery centre is aiming to help people who become dependent on drugs and alcohol to beat their addictions. It's headed by the charity Change UK and includes a dry bar, a cafe and incubation space for users who want to go into self-employment. It's funded by Public Health England and has already received support from some famous names, including John Taylor of Duran Duran and the comedian Russell Brand. Here's Roshni Patel.
We want to explore with people about what did they want to do before they got into taking drugs and alcohol, what were their dreams, and then make those a possibility and empower people so that they can achieve anything.
Hope. It's a four-letter word that many of us roll off the tip of our tongue every single day. For an addict, though, it's a concept which may seem so far away, it doesn't even bear thinking of. Steve is ready to change that.
Well, I'm hoping Recovery Central will be a place that provides opportunities for people in recovery to develop skills to be able to move into employment of their own choice so that they can achieve their goals and aspirations and hopes and have a place where they can come and be supported to do that.
This is the new £1 million recovery centre that's opened its doors here in Birmingham. It's made a promise to help 300 people per year beat their addiction with drugs or alcohol. It's the brainchild of the charity Changes UK and one that they hope will serve as a leading example to the rest of the country.
I think this model can be replicated anywhere really, you know, where there's a need for business. You know, we're setting up building company, gardening company, cafes, coffee shops, different businesses are going to be needed anywhere, but also addiction is in every city and we need to make recovery visible and attractive as well.
Steve's confidence in the centre is boosted by his own story. An addict for 15 years, he managed to beat his demons and is now channeling what helped him most into the services being offered right here.
I was stuck in addiction, you know, for years, trying to stop using, didn't understand why I was using. I knew that wasn't what it isn't what I wanted to do, and I just couldn't find a way out. All of our staff that are working directly with clients are either peer mentors or recovery coaches, and that means that they have lived experience of addiction and recovery as well. So it's that therapeutic value really of someone who's been there supporting somebody and pulling them out, and it's that identification that people need rather than a worker telling them what they think they should do. It's somebody that can say to them, I know, I've been there too.
Like Steve and some of the people who worked at the recovery centre, they've proved that a little hope can go a long way on the road to recovery. Their journey to beat that addiction may be over, but they're now waiting, ready to give this hope to somebody on the other side of that door. Roshni Patel for Big News in Birmingham.
Now, old pairs of spectacles donated to the Beacon Centre in Wolverhampton have been sent to Sri Lanka to help people struggling with eye loss in rural communities where they have no access to such services. They've been sent by the Sedgley-based charity and have helped 50 people so far, and another batch is on its way, as Monica Plaha reports.
Got people out there who may have needed glasses for 30 years, so effectively cannot see to that function daily. No access to services, no money to effectively buy glasses and no optometrists locally. So far we've sent about 50 pairs of glasses out there. which has enabled 50 people to see again in the rural communities.
One pair of glasses, what difference can this make to one person in Sri Lanka?
It can enable them to live an independent life, as opposed to being dependent on the community. Their self-esteem increases, they may be able to cook, go out on their own, and that's something we take for granted in the UK. We can go to an optician's on the high street or at the Beacon Centre and buy a pair of glasses, and we can be allowed to drive again. It makes a huge difference to our daily lives. If you think you haven't got that facility, it's a very long life not being able to see. And these people in the communities, they've never known anything so revolutionary.
So far, 50 glasses have been received in Sri Lanka, but what's the bigger picture?
The bigger picture, it's a really start of a big campaign. We've advertised locally. In the last fortnight, we've actually gained 200 pairs of glasses to send out, which will have a huge impact for local people in Sri Lanka, as well as the people donating the glasses to us. They can feel they've actually achieved something huge by sending the glasses out to Sri Lanka. They've helped a person to see. And it's not very often we can say that about somebody.
And you say 200 glasses have been donated within the Black Country region. When did this all start?
I first spoke to the Sennhauser Foundation probably about 3 months ago. We didn't know the impact it would have, but over the last 2 or 3 weeks, as people have become more and more aware. Yesterday I had 3 carrier bags full of glasses that were sitting in somebody's drawer. I've had 2 phone calls this morning from somebody saying we're bringing a load in this afternoon. So it can be a really positive scheme. It's good for people in Sri Lanka. It's also good for people in the Black Country in the local area because you're making a difference.
And it's not just glasses that you want to donate to the people in Sri Lanka. It's also certain services that you provide for those who can't see completely altogether.
Yep, that's right. There's a lot of people out there who have diagnosed sight loss where glasses won't really correct their vision. We've developed it from the initial point of getting glasses to the people, and now we're actually offering individual advice to people with sight loss out there via the monks. So we're training the monks via representative, not from ourselves, the Sennhauser Foundation, have staff that go out there, volunteers that go out there. We're training those staff and developing questionnaires so we can assess the needs of the people in the communities.
Donating these glasses, essentially, it's life-changing. And what would you say to those people out there who do have old pairs of glasses that's just lying around that potentially they don't even know about?
Bring them into any of our charity shops. We've got charity shops all over the Midlands.
Well, this week it's been Mental Health Awareness Week and Dementia Awareness Week, and we've been featuring a number of people affected by both of these issues. We spoke to Elizabeth. She's in her late 70s and she loves going to the cinema, and now she can in comfort, and she loves it. She suffers from Alzheimer's. The charity Alzheimer's Society say an early diagnosis can help people to live as well as possible. And in Dementia Week, they're urging everyone to confront head-on the challenges posed by dementia. Here's Monica again, who went to see Elizabeth at the Watermill in Walsall.
Elizabeth was diagnosed with dementia 2 years ago. She noticed she wasn't herself. The realisation hit when she couldn't remember what day of the week it was.
To my daughter, well, what day is it today? And she tells me, And I thought, why can't I think? Why can't my brain think? And then they told me that I got what they call the short-term memory loss. That's it, short-term memory loss. I feel as though I don't belong here. I ought to be on another planet. That's how I feel. Shouldn't be like that, should I?
Living with dementia can be hard. It was around the time of the diagnosis Elizabeth became less able to walk.
From the time I came out of hospital, I went to another home. Not this home, another home. And then I realised, and I tried to stand up, and I couldn't stand up. My feet went from underneath me. And this is how I've been ever since, just legs don't want to go, and I feel as though, I don't know, just feel as though I've lost everything. Because I've always been very active, because I used to be a carer here. And I cared for so many people. Lots of people are still here that I used to care for.
The Alzheimer's Society say nearly 2/3 of people fear a diagnosis, which Elizabeth knows all too much about. But now she is provided with the right support and visits a care home on a regular basis.
I've got quite a lot of friends that I've met since I've been here, friends I talk to that I would never have spoken to otherwise. Perhaps just said hello or good morning and that's it, but not put myself out sort of thing, which you should do, really.
There are many people living with dementia who are determined to not let it get in the way. A dementia-friendly cinema has opened and she's a regular.
dating back is The Sound of Music and, you know, films like that.
Yes,
Very
that's
old
good.
musicals. I love the musical ones. They were really lovely.
Stand up with top.
You're watching The Wizard of Oz today. How do you feel about that?
Lovely. Yes, it's very good.
And you've got your popcorn, the drink.
No, listen, these are Jerry's. These are.
I like music. Danny Boy.
What's your favourite film?
Film? Oh, I don't know. Maybe go back to an old cowboy one, I should imagine so, when I was younger, going to school.
When you watch musicals or films here, does it bring back memories?
Oh, some of it, yes, yeah. Happy days they were.
Yeah, we've enjoyed it. Yeah, and we came last week. My brothers and I. We had a lovely time, really.
In fact, watching classic musical films can immediately change the mood of an elderly person with dementia. It's the tunes that carries the story which provokes memories.
People years ago used to go to the cinema, have the popcorn, have the pop and enjoy a really good movie. And we wanted to recreate that so we could play, you know, the old-time musics and some of the old classic films.
The present can be sometimes difficult for those with dementia, but these familiar musicals and films provide a comforting glance into the past. What's more important to remember is that life doesn't end when dementia begins.
And I've met people that are living with dementia and they're living good lives, and that's what we need to get across. And people don't need to be frightened of being diagnosed, because there's help and support out there for them, and they need to just access it all and just grasp what they've got live and live their lives, because that's what life's about.
This is Monica Plaha for Big News in Warsaw.
A mural that depicts the history of West Bromwich is moving home, and this time it's going to a permanent base. Norman Bartlam explains.
A 40-year-old mural depicting the history of West Bromwich is being moved from its home in the former headquarters of the West Bromwich Building Society to Sandwell Park Farm, and it's all thanks to enterprising work from local campaigners.
The mural was commissioned back in the late 70s when the West Brom first moved into these premises on West Bromwich High Street. And it's been here, it's been with us now for nearly 40 years and brought an awful amount of pleasure to the people that work at the Building Society and also many people that came to visit us.
West Bromwich Building Society decided not to take the mural to their new headquarters, so the group Friends of Dartmouth Park came to the rescue.
I thought it'd be a great idea for it to go on public display. And I applied to the Heritage Lottery, and they were very generous and gave us a substantial amount to have it moved and reinstalled at Sandwell Park Farm, where it'll be seen by thousands of people.
William Burgess, who designed the mural, joined the contractors to oversee the removal of his work. The glazed terracotta panels depict the town hall and the early West Bromwich Corporation buses. Behind it stands the modern motorway network. Next to it, industry is shown by the imposing shape of the former Swan Village gasworks. Another source of fuel was coal, and the mining industry is represented by Hampstead Colliery. And transport of goods is shown in the steam trains of the Great Western Railway, the canals, and also Galton Bridge. The 16th century oak house features prominently, as does the Farley Clock Tower, and other industries include the Salters factory. The West Midlands' only Premiership football team is mentioned, with the FA Cup there, last won in 1968.
It's very important that it's kept because it depicts some fantastic scenes from the history of West Bromwich. It reflects some of the culture of West Bromwich, what's important to the town really. And much as we've enjoyed it here at the Society for all these years, it'll be lovely for it to finally be in a public place where people from all around the borough can actually come and see it for themselves and appreciate it. Has been, much as we've enjoyed it, it has been a little bit behind closed doors all these years.
Now even more people will have the pleasure of seeing the mural once it's erected in its new home at Sandwell Park Farm. This is Norman Bartlam for Big News in West Bromwich.
Now, everybody, it seems, has an idol, and a recent YouGov survey across 30 countries has shown some interesting names among people's top 10. Bill Gates, for instance, came out number 1. Barack Obama was second, the highest placed Brit, indeed the only one in the top 10. At number 5 was Stephen Hawking, which set us thinking, who are your idols and why?
If it's, in the past, someone who's not alive, it would be Muhammad, the way he, lived his life. It's something to aspire to.
I haven't really thought about it. I don't really have an idol as such at the moment. Yeah.
A singer from the States of Italian origin, Dean Martin, ex-boxer as well.
And why is he your idol?
He was so cool. When everyone else was sort of banging on about the Rolling Stones and Elvis Presley and that lot, I like Dean Martin. That's why I never managed to chat up any girls.
And that's it. Lee, it's back to you.
Thanks, Bob. Right, still to come, Des and Gary will find out what's on for Sunday, and Carl will have a look at the film news. I'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back. It's the Big Magazine with you for a Sunday here on Big Centre. Still to come, Carl will be here with the film news. We'll see what's up on the community notice board for this week, as well as who is featured in this week's Charity Focus. Tom Wilkinson will look ahead to next week in history, and I'll grab what's in the postbag. That's all to come later on in the show. But first, let's find out what's on for Sunday with Des and Gary.
Over in Kings Heath, the Hare and Hounds team up with the Digbeth Dining Club for their York Road street closure, featuring 12 street food vendors, Moseley Record Fair, arts and crafts stalls and resident DJs.
That's always a good.
That's always a good.
Great do.
Very good.
Yeah, Jack was on. What's on? Right at the very, very beginning of the series.
Oh, right, it runs the Digbeth food thing. Yeah, it's very good.
Brilliant. And also, just down the road, starting at 2 o'clock, the Transport Stadium in Wheelers Lane are putting on the Ritz and celebrating the famous Ritz Ballroom with music, stories and memorabilia. Now, that's the one that burnt down not long ago. The Beatles played there way back. It's just round the corner from the Hare and Hounds.
I don't know it.
Yeah. Appearing will be Vix and her Mischiefs, Melissa Gill, the Mighty Crawdaddies, Tim Walker-Dean and many more.
OK, sounds a good night. Comedy shows tonight, and local comedian Joe Enright is at the Hare and Hounds, and Ramesh Ragatathan is...
I thought you'd like that.
I like that one. Rangan Nathan is at the Art Tricks in Bromsgrove.
Yeah. And gigs tonight, Welsh singer-songwriter Kate LeBon, no relation to Simon, is at the Glee. Paul Kelly is at the Irish Centre. Mancunian Graham Nash, now, he was with the Hollies.
See?
Graham Nash, yeah, originally with the Hollies, and then he went over to the States.
Wasn't Crosby, Stills and Nash? Oh, that's Graham Nash?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
He plays the Town Hall. And Lauren Ray is at the Kitchen Garden. And here's a video, it's really nice actually, this, called Drive. Say goodbye.
Is that it?
It is.
OK, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You take the gas and I'll take the wheel. Follow the light of how we feel. You take the...
And Des and Gary will be back here on Big Centre with a look at what's on for the coming week, tonight at 7:30, as well as all the way during the week in Big News.
Hello, my name is Mark Burchell. We have two dogs at our house, Snoop Dogg and Percy. Snoop is a chocolate Labrador that we have had and trained from a puppy. I can almost get that dog to do anything that I want with a one-word command, apart from that is just one thing. Labradors are known for their appetite in that they will literally eat anything as if it were their last ever meal. We often joke that food is never tasted or chewed, it's just swallowed as if there were no tomorrow. Occasionally, he is given the leftovers from a Sunday lunch. The food is scraped into his bowl, and on the command, he's allowed to eat it. However, because he is so consumed with a passion for food, and knowing that there is also another little dog around, he picks up the dish in his mouth and runs with it so that he makes sure that he gets it all to himself. What he doesn't realize that as he's running with it, the dish is tipping up and emptying all along the route, so that when he gets to his private eating spot, there's very little left in his bowl. His selfishness means that he actually gets less, not more, for himself. Percy runs along behind him and does an amazing clear-up job. holding on to your stuff may seem like that there's going to be more for you, but actually you get less. God has set generosity into the laws of the universe so that you reap in proportion to what you sow. You never reap if you don't sow. Ask any farmer how much he reaps each year, and he will tell you that he reaps in proportion to what he has sown the previous year. But he will also tell you that the quality of the seed that he sows brings a greater harvest. How many times have we given away stuff that really is our junk? We have a clear out and we give away what we should have thrown away. We then think that we have done a good deed for someone less fortunate. In fact, we do exactly what Snoop does, if we're honest. We want to keep the best stuff for ourselves. If you're wondering today why your dish always seems almost empty when it should be full, take a look behind you and you'll see what selfishness has caused you to lose along the way. In the book of Proverbs in the Bible, it says in Proverbs 11:24, one person gives freely, yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly, but he comes to poverty. Until next time, take care.
Now, do you like a good film? Well, from our movie magazine show, The Big Picture, here's Carl Jones with the general manager of the new Light Cinema in Walsall.
Right, well, General Manager Jamie Atherton is now with us. Now, forgive me for mentioning this, you don't sound like a black country boy.
No, I'm not. I'm from the Wirral up in Merseyside. So we opened our first cinema in New Brighton on the Wirral, and I was asked to help with the recruitment and the opening of the cinema in Walsall, and it's been a really fun, really great opening so far. I'll probably be here for a couple of months more, and then somebody local will actually take over the general managership of the site.
So you're an expansion specialist, are you? Is that right?
Well, maybe, sort of. I enjoy the openings, I enjoy working with a new bunch of people, I enjoy seeing the opportunity that they have. When we open a site, we tend to not necessarily appoint our supervisors, managers from the off. What we do is we open and we give everybody the opportunity to impress, and it gives us a real great chance to see actually who the best candidate for those roles are. So it's really fun to see people's development.
So how early then in the process of the building of this cinema then would you have been involved, right from the blueprint stage or the...
No, I'm not great with builds and building sites. I'm involved from the start of the recruitment process. So I help with the recruitment, the interviewing. We sift through, select our candidates. They in turn go on a performance PTP course, which has helped with the local council help us with, and then we train the guys up. So we get on site about a week, maybe sometimes it can vary depending on each opening, but we get on site with the team about a week prior to opening at the earliest, and we start working together a week before we open.
And an opening date was, how long have you been open for now?
We opened on the 21st of March.
And you've been pleased with how it's gone so far?
Yeah, it's been great. Really happy with our guests' reaction to the site. The team have been awesome. You know, I can't praise them enough. And most of our positive praise on social media is, well, it usually comes for the seats that we're sitting in.
Comfy chairs, fair play.
Our screens, but our staff, they're reviewed so well, and it's great for us to see their development within 7 weeks has been fantastic.
It's an instant social media world now. You know pretty much straight away if people like you or
it's
they
the
don't.
immediacy, yeah, of
Just
it.
anybody who's not been here yet, tell us what facilities you've got here, how many screens, how many seats. And
Yep. So we're an 8-screen cinema. They range from, our smallest is a capacity of 88 seats, and the one we're actually sitting in is 243. All our seats have little tables that you can bring up either a glass of wine or a pint from our bar, or you can put your popcorn or your food on them. All really comfortable seats. They all have great eyesight views, lots of leg room, and our screens, as you can see, are absolutely huge.
How do you decide on what the capacity should be for a cinema like this? What sort of research goes into it?
Honestly, I'm not sure. That's the architect. So from that blueprint stage, I think they look at the space, we look at sight lines, we look at size of screen. And when you look at capacity as well, we could probably put another row of seats in front of where we're sitting now, but we feel that would compromise guest experience. So there's numerous things to take into account, but I think ultimately is the space that you have initially to work with dictates how many people you can fit.
So what does a typical day in the life of Jamie involve these days, and what would you be doing?
It varies. One of the good things about working for the Light Cinema is the autonomy that we're given. So we're able to run our site with quite a great deal of autonomy. We're able to engage our guests locally, we can pick and are involved in what we programme, how we market that to our guests, the charities that we'll work with, the accessibility screenings that we'll decide. So one of the things that we're big on is accessibility and enabling everyone to come in and to watch cinema. One of our sister sites, New Brightons, they just started dementia-friendly screenings. We're just about to introduce subtitled and autism-friendly screenings and baby-friendly screenings. So that's something that I'm going to be working on in the coming months, is trying to make these a real success.
And you can, and as the weeks go on, you start to build up a picture of feedback of, you know, what works, what doesn't, what people are asking for, what type of audiences you get.
Exactly. We're really new. 7 weeks in, we've had a great start so far. There's been a focus on the commercial cinema or the mainstream releases because we've been really fortunate. There's been really a succession of these that have been successful of late. But I'm really excited now. We've got some event cinema coming up, what we call Light Arts. We've got Kenneth Branagh's theatre company, Romeo and Juliet, that has Richard Madden, who's in Game of Thrones. So some of these performances have really mainstream, well-known actors in.
Because that's one of the interesting things about, quirky things about cinema, isn't it? Part of what you do is out of your control. You know, you are reliant on film companies producing great movies that people want to watch. And obviously you've got the flexibility of having 8 screens, which means you can get a good blend there. But, you know, you might, you know, sort of launch at a time when there was some movies out there which are getting a real critical panning, and that makes it difficult to plan.
Yeah, so you've got to try and be creative with your programme. You've got to maybe look at event cinema, live music, concerts, ballet, maybe less independent cinema, and that's where being able to engage your community local comes in. There might be saturation releases, as you say, that aren't performing anywhere near as well as the industry would like. But that's where maybe you've got to work a little bit harder and look and see, are there releases that suit your community? You know, we have a strong Bollywood Asian community that attends cinema in this region, and that's something that we're going to look at and try and make sure that we get the content right for that audience so that they can access our cinema as well.
Thanks, Carl. And of course, you can see more from Carl on The Big Picture tonight at 9 and Friday nights at 10. OK, we're going to take a short break now, but when we come back, we'll have a look at the community notice board, then we'll see who's the subject of this week's charity focus. And as ever, I'll be delving into the Big Centre postbag too. So I'll see you in a few minutes. So then, let's have a look at what's happening in your community as we take a look at our community notice board. Good Lord, you're back.
I'm back again. Glorious return. If you have some news you'd like to feature, then give us plenty of notice and you could be telling people all across the area what's going on.
Yes, if you want to get in touch, we'll tell you how in a few minutes' time.
And a quick reminder of something that we mentioned a couple of weeks ago. Elmfield School in Stourbridge, West Midlands, is once again opening its doors to past pupils this September. They hope that members who have previously lost touch will be able to attend this famous and prestigious school for old time's sake. Not all students remained in the area following their Elmfield years, and this is the reason for shouting out about this reunion.
Yeah, many ex-pupils have gone on into further education and achieved exceptional careers as diverse as directors and owners of private businesses, healthcare professionals such as nurses, professional musicians and well-known celebrities.
What's a professional museum?
I don't know.
Elmfield has seen many changes over the years since it opened its doors in 1934, first in Selly Oak and then Park Hill after the war in 1945, thanks to a Mr. Hutchins, the father of the kindergarten teacher. Isn't kindergarten an American
I suppose it is, yeah. We call it nursery in here,
yeah. Nursery. The neighbouring home was purchased in 1962 to extend the school to more pupils, and then extra additions and modifications over the years has brought the school to its present size.
Yep, so if you're an ex-pupil and you'd like to find out more information, then you can contact John Gartner on gartner452011@gmail.com. That's gartner452011@gmail.com.
Should probably put that up on the...
Maybe I will.
Can't even remember my own phone number. The Central Youth Theatre is hosting its third Hilarity Charity Gala at Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre. The fantastic night will play host to a huge lineup of TV comedians performing to raise money for the theatre group, and it's on Monday the 6th of June at 7:30 p.m.
Now, the lineup for the evening of comedy includes Joe Lycett from 8 out of 10 Cats and Nevermind the Buzzcocks and Celebrity Juice, Nish Kumar from Have I Got News For You, Russell Howard's Stand Up Central, and Wolverhampton's own Pappies. The evening will be compared by Daniel Kitson from Phoenix Nights, and as always, there will be more big names announced nearer to the date.
Sounds good so far.
Does actually, yeah.
Last year, the lineup consisted of such huge comedians as Russell Howard and Greg Davies. There was also a surprise set announced on the night by Rob Beckett.
I like him. He's the one with blonde hair and big teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him, yeah. Now, the evening supports the Central Youth Theatre, which was founded by Jane Ward 33 years ago. The initiative quickly established a charitable status for the group, with the idea of keeping the group affordable for all young people. Now, over the years, Jane has created a range of opportunities for thousands of young people, and then in 2014, she was awarded an MBE for services to drama and the community of Wolverhampton.
Ooh, MBE. Mom. This year's gala is aiming to raise funds to help the Youth Theatre secure its future by obtaining a new home. Central Youth Theatre plans to renovate the former Co-op building in Lichfield Street, directly opposite to the Grand Theatre. The group plan to create a space with rehearsal studios, offices and a home for the 10,000 plus costumes owned by the sister company Actors Wardrobe.
Yes, they've got plenty there. I know a few people who've gone through the Central Youth Theatre, and they've got so much. And yeah, it's quite a good cause actually. So to find out more and book some tickets, then have a look at the Grand Theatre's website. It's grandtheatre.co.uk, or you can call 01902 429212.
If you watch this new series of Doorstep, you'll see that we probably need some Actors Wardrobe.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
We'll find out more about that.
Now, you'll remember we mentioned Walsall Tennis Club recently, and David Twist, their vice chairman, has been in touch. As we told you, Walsall Tennis Club recently played host to the British Davis Cup. Stars Danny Sapford and Luke Milligan. They delivered group coaching sessions to over 100 local people.
Now, those sessions included mini tennis for the 5 to 11-year-olds, team tennis and team tennis coaching, as well as speed serve competitions. The tennis professionals then played an entertaining and trick shot-filled exhibition match for the large crowd that had gathered to enjoy the day.
That was a bit of a tongue twister. I'm surprised you didn't throw in team tennis.
You couldn't say that.
Trying to be clever. The fundraising event to help secure this future of the 104-year-old club when its lease expires in 3 years' time raised over £3,000 and generated lots of interest in the club, situated just behind the Metro Inn on the Birmingham Road. Anyone interested in joining the last remaining tennis club in Walsall or donating to their good cause to secure their future should visit their site at walsalltennis.co.uk.
Yes. Now we've got some details of this year's Barbecue for Heroes campaign.
Oh, I love a good barbecue.
Oh, yes.
It's being run by the Help for Heroes charity, and the idea is that you hold a barbecue and raise money for Help the Heroes at the same time. They say it's a great excuse to get friends over for lovely food, good company and a worthy cause. Just ask everyone to make a donation in exchange for some food. It couldn't be simpler.
So if that's the sort of thing you'd like to get involved with, you like your food, don't you?
I like barbecues.
There you go. All you have to do to find out more, go to www.bbqforheroes.org.uk. That's bbqforheroes.org.uk. Or you can call 01980 846459.
And if you decide to have a barbecue for heroes, let us know and we might send someone along to film you. We'll give you our contact details in a tick.
Nice. Now, Walsall Brass Band are forming, a new forming band who are looking for more players to join them. This includes cornets, horns, euphonium, trombones, ebb and basses and percussion. Okay. They tell us that they're a friendly, non-contesting band who will welcome all players from novice to virtuoso, and they rehearse once a week at Walsall Cricket Club in Galway Road in Walsall, which is next to the Walsall University campus.
I wonder if anyone's going to go along and play a French horn.
It's quite possible.
Their aim is to promote brass band music to the Walsall communities and surrounding areas. Plus, they want to encourage new people to come and play a brass instrument. We're told that players who used to play are returning to play once more. And so if you ever said, I wish I could play, well, just come and have a go.
Wish I could play.
Yeah.
Played the trombone at school. It's terrible. Anyway.
Now, obviously, it would be useful for people to have a basic music knowledge, but they do know of brass teachers for people who would like to learn to play.
Yeah, so if you're interested in that, you want to play a piece of brass, then you can contact Roger Bates by email on WalsallBrassBand, all one word, at virginmedia.com, or you can telephone 01902 633 270, or there's a mobile number 07954 158858.
I want to hear you play the trombone now.
All I could do was... Terrible.
So we can play at the weekend. So, that's what we've found on our community notice board for this week.
Yes, would you like to tell people across the area what's going on? Yes, well, just get in touch and make sure you let us know in plenty of time.
Now you can email us via the postbag. That's postbag@bigcentre.tv. Send a message on social media @BigCentre.tv.
Or you can click your fingers, pop a letter in the post. Go on.
Something a bit more dramatic this week.
Go on then. There it is, the community notice board, Big Centre, 14A, Lower Hall Lane, Walsall WS1 1RL. Right, now it's time for another history lesson. And joining me again to look at what happened during next week, but in years gone by, from Doorstep History, it's Tom Wilkinson. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Lee.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Good Lord.
Good to be back.
So soon.
I know.
So we're looking ahead to next week.
We are.
All right.
We are. There's a few good dates
Is
this
there?
week, actually. Yeah.
This is what we like. What we got first?
Yeah. So in 1533, we've got the marriage to King Henry VIII, and Catherine of Aragon, his first wife, was declared null and void.
Ah, right. Yes, we heard about that, didn't we?
Yeah. As she was his brother's wife originally.
Oh, right. Oh, they kept it in the family
yeah.
then. Blimey. Busy family, isn't it?
Oh,
So that's your considered opinion about them, is it?
they're like the original. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Rowdy family from the end of the road.
Can you imagine them on something like the Jeremy Kyle show?
I can imagine them on one of those The Only Way Is Essex sort of shows. The Only Way Is Tudor.
Yes. No, the only way was Henry.
Yeah.
Won't be tied to anybody who went against that.
1568, the Netherlands declared their independence from Spain.
I didn't know they were part of Spain.
Spain had loads of control in Europe. They used to control Sicily and Naples as well.
Yeah, they're quite nearby, but the Netherlands.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's almost in Holland.
Hmm?
No, okay.
1701.
Yes.
William Kidd was hung for piracy after he was finally caught.
Was that Captain
Kidd?
Of course it was. Ha. Wow, I didn't realise that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's hung for piracy?
Hung in London.
Oh, blimey. Imagine everything was public then, wasn't it? Sort of in front of everyone, and they sort of made a day out of it. People would turn up with their picnics and sandwiches and everything else.
Yeah. It's grim times back then.
Yeah, not half.
Yeah. 1934, another famous date, and these are, after this they became quite pop culture icons. Bonnie and Clyde.
Aha.
This was the day that they were gunned down by the police in Louisiana.
Blimey. I've seen the film, obviously, you know, and that's sort of kind of
Yeah.
based on the original story. I wonder whether because they were kind of glamorous, weren't they, or they were glamorised?
Yeah, they were
at the time.
glamorised.
But,
And I mean, they've been glamorised even more by the films and
that's
Hollywood.
true. Yeah. But of course, the reality is not as simple as that, is
No,
it?
no,
Never
they're-
is.
Well, they were bordering on psychopaths.
Yes.
But, yeah. But the car's still around.
Is it?
Yep. The car is still around and they wheel it out at certain shows in America.
I imagine it's got sort of plenty of bullet holes in it and so on.
Ventilation.
That's one way to look at it, I suppose.
May 24th, English settlers settle in Jamestown, Virginia.
Right.
The first English colony in America.
Ah, that's the significance.
Yes.
Right, okay. What year was that?
That was in 1607.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, first foothold in America for the British. 1940, the Leon Trotsky was assassinated under the orders of Joseph Stalin.
Ah.
Famously attacked with an ice pick.
That's not pleasant.
No. So the story goes, he survived taking the ice pick to the head.
Right.
And managed to kill his 2 attackers.
Really?
Apparently so. Managed to kill his 2 attackers and managed to survive for, I think it was stay alive for at least a week after.
How?
With an ice pick stuck in his head.
It's almost like running around like a headless chicken, isn't it? You know.
No, whenever I hear some, it's just Russians. You can't kill a Russian.
Okay.
1956, the first Eurovision Song Contest.
Oh, Eurovision, 1956.
Yes.
So it was the 60th this year then?
Yeah.
I have a friend who goes to every one that he can. It's
Oh, really?
amazing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love Eurovision as much as anyone. When I used to work on the radio, every Saturday that there was a Eurovision Song Contest, I would play as many of the worst Eurovision songs that people just love. But
I always like Ukraine's entries because it's just like watching some kind of weird cartoon.
Were they the ones who did the sort of the Klingons? You know who I mean? Is it Lordi?
No, they were from Finland.
Oh, of course they were. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. What is it? Finnish death metal.
That's it. Something like that. Yeah. I like it.
Okay, May 25th, 240 BC. The first recorded sighting of Halley's Comet.
Oh, right, okay. Now, is this the one that was recorded famously on the Bayeux Tapestry?
No.
No, oh, right.
The Bayeux Tapestry was 1066.
Of course it was, yes.
But
I can't count.
Odds are it is Halley's Comet that's recorded on there, but this was a while before.
Oh, right, okay. So I couldn't remember. My history's terrible, as you can probably tell. Not supposed to agree.
Well, you should know this next one, though.
Oh, good.
1977.
I've got half a chance of remembering then.
May the 25th. The first Star Wars film was released.
Oh, of course.
The first Star Wars film was released. Not predicted to do too well. And then, look at it now.
Yeah, I was nearly 4 years old. You weren't.
I wasn't even a twinkle in my parents' eye.
I do remember it, actually. I mean, Doctor Who was running in the 70s at that time, and then that changed everything because Doctor Who then looked cheap afterwards, and you know, and so did everything else, you know, which is a shame. I mean, Star Wars is brilliant, though. You know, you can't beat it.
Yeah. May the 26th, 1896. Tsar Nicholas II becomes the last Tsar of Russia before him and his family are executed by the Bolsheviks in the Soviet Union is born.
Right, yes, that's quite a famous story, isn't it? Yeah, quite a sad story as well.
Yeah, it's a sad story, but people were still holding out hope for years that Anastasia survived, his youngest daughter.
Haven't they supposedly found her over the years?
She was in the pit with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Apparently. Sad story, but yeah. Shall I do one more?
One more, yes.
Okay then. 1897, Dracula, written by Bram Stoker, was published.
Ah, Dracula. So, right, what year?
That was 1897.
1897. Ah, good stuff. Famous. Thank you. You're going to come back again next weekend?
I'll come back next weekend.
Lovely to see you then.
Yep, see you later.
Time now to see what you've been saying to us. It's time for the postbag. Now, you might have seen on our Facebook page this week, we shared details of a collection of filmed messages from troops stationed in India during the Second World War. Now, the idea was that the troops would send back messages to back home to friends and family, and often they would be played at in Walsall at the Picture House on Bridge Street. Now, this obviously struck a chord with some of you. Margaret Sylvester said, "Thank you, that was great." Nice. Barbara Sweeney said, "Thought this was great." Christine Duckhouse said, "Brilliant. My dad was in India with the Somerset Light Infantry. I believe they were the last to come home in 1947. Now, did you see the feature on Big News in the week about the mural at the West Bromwich Building Society being carefully dismantled so as to be moved to a new location? Well, Nick Truman, who featured in the report, got in touch with Norman Bartlam, who filmed it. Nick said, "I caught the feature on your 9 o'clock news, thought it was great. Sets things up nicely for the next chapter when the mural is installed at the farm. Funnily enough, I had a message from a friend last night who said they'd been watching and had to do a double take when I appeared on screen chatting about murals and art. Proof, if anyone needed, that people are watching and taking note. Thanks again for putting the piece together." Nice one. And thanks to Nick for taking part in the report and telling us what's happening. Now, if you missed the report, do keep an eye on our YouTube page. You can see it there. Now, also last week, Monica Plaha took our Big News cameras to the Beacon Centre to visit their day centre. Again, you can see the report on our YouTube page, but Helen Brown got in touch with us after we showed it on the news. And Helen said, "I just wanted to say thanks so much for a great piece. You really captured what the day centre is all about, and so we are very pleased with it." Well, thank you, Helen. Glad to know that you like what we're doing. So there you go, that's what we found in our postbag this week. And if you'd like to get in touch with us then on social media, we are at Big Centre TV, and you can find us under that name on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Plus, of course, you can email us postbag@bigcentre.tv. And of course, we've got a couple of other Twitter feeds as well. For sport, at Big Centre Sport. For news, at Big Centre News. And for What's On, at BC_What's On. Simple. Oh, and remember, if you want to nominate somebody for our charity focus as well, these are the details that you need. So if you want to write to us as well, then the address for anything at all is Big Centre, 14A, Lower Hall Lane, Walsall, WS1 1RL. And that's your Big Magazine for Sunday. You can catch the Big Magazine on Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Then we're back with more on Sundays, also at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. During the week, we're with you at 8 until 9 in the morning, and again from 10 until 11. Now, Big News continues at 1, 6 and 9 with updates throughout the day. So, from the whole team here, thank you for watching this weekend. I'll see you later. Try a bit.